Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here today. You know, life has a funny way of knocking us down when we least expect it. One moment you're riding high, feeling invincible, like nothing can touch you. Then bam, you hit the ground and it feels like the world just crumbled beneath your feet. But let me tell you something today, it's not about the fall. It's about the rise. You see, falling is inevitable. It's part of the journey. We all fall, we all fail, we all make mistakes. But it's what happens next that truly matters. It's what you do after you've fallen that defines your character, your will, and your destiny. When I think about falling, I remember a moment in my own life. A time when things weren't going my way. I was struggling, feeling defeated, feeling like maybe I wasn't cut out for this. And you know what got me back up? It wasn't the applause, it wasn't the recognition, and it sure wasn't the critics. It was the fire within. The fire within that says, you can get up one more time, that inner voice, that whisper that tells you this is not where your story ends, because when you fall, it's easy to stay down. It's easy to wallow in self-pity and blame the world. But rising? Oh, rising is a choice. Rising takes strength. Rising takes courage. I want you to think about a seed for a moment. A tiny, seemingly insignificant seed buried deep in the soil, in the dark, alone. It's easy to look at that seed and think it's buried for good, that nothing can come of it. But the truth is, it's not buried, it's planted. And what happens next? It fights through the darkness, it pushes through the soil, it rises towards the light. And when it finally breaks through the surface, it grows into something beautiful, something strong, something that the world can see and admire. That's you. You may feel buried right now. You may feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, but you're not buried, you're planted. And this is your season to rise. Think about the greatest names in history: Nelson Mandela, Oprah Winfrey, Michael Jordan, Steve Jobs. They all fell. They all faced moments of defeat, moments where giving up seemed like the easiest option. But they chose to rise. They chose to get back up and keep fighting. Not because it was easy, but because they believed in something greater. They believed in themselves. You've got that same power, that same spirit, that same resilience. When you fall, don't just lie there and accept it. Don't just let life keep you down. Look at that ground and say, this isn't where I'm staying. Plant your hands, push yourself up, and stand tall. I know some of you might be going through a rough time right now. You might be dealing with loss, rejection, failure, and it hurts. I get it. It feels like you've lost everything. But sometimes the fall is the very thing that prepares you for the rise. It's in the fall that you find your strength. It's in the fall that you learn who you truly are. And when you rise, you come back stronger. You come back wiser. You come back with a fire that no one can extinguish. Denzel Washington once said, without commitment, you'll never start. But more importantly, without consistency, you'll never finish. Rising isn't just about standing up once. It's about getting up every single time you fall. It's about consistency. It's about perseverance. It's about never giving up, even when it feels like the odds are stacked against you. So I challenge you today, no matter where you are in life, no matter how many times you fall and decide to rise, decide that you're not going to let this setback define you. Decide that you're going to get back up and keep pushing forward, because falling is part of the process. But rising, that's where greatness is born. This is your moment. This is your time to rise. So stand up, dust yourself off, and get ready. Because the world hasn't seen the best of you yet. Everyone experiences moments in life when they stumble and fall. It might be a failure at work, a business venture that collapses, a relationship that ends, or a dream that feels unreachable. These moments can feel like the end, like everything we've worked for has slipped through our fingers. But here's the truth: falling is inevitable. It's part of the human experience. At some point, everyone faces failure, disappointment, or loss. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, or how successful you might seem on the surface. Life has a way of humbling us all. It will push us to the ground and challenge us in ways we never expected. But while falling is something we all experience, rising is a choice. It's a decision we have to make each time life knocks us down. This is where the real difference lies between those who merely exist and those who thrive. The fall is just an event. It's a single moment in time. It's the choice to rise that defines our character. It's what separates those who get stuck in the past from those who move forward and achieve greatness. The fall may not be in our control, but the rise always is. That's where our power lies. It's in that crucial moment, lying on the ground, that we have a decision to make. We can choose to stay down, to let the weight of our failures keep us pinned, or we can choose to rise, to fight back, and to stand once more. When you fall, the easiest thing to do is stay down. It's comfortable there, it's familiar. You don't have to face the judgment of others or the fear of failing again. You don't have to deal with the pain of disappointment or the risk of another setback. It's a place where you can hide, where you can tell yourself that it's better not to try again, because trying means risking another fall. But staying down also means accepting defeat. It means giving up on your potential, on your dreams, and on the life you could have. Staying down may feel safe, but it's a prison of your own making, one that keeps you from growing, evolving, and becoming the person you're meant to be. Choosing to rise is not easy. It requires courage. It requires looking at the failure head on and deciding that it doesn't define you. It means acknowledging your mistakes, accepting responsibility, and then finding the strength to stand up again. Rising demands resilience, the ability to bounce back after a setback. It's a muscle that gets stronger every time you use it. The more you rise after a fall, the more resilient you become. You start to see the falls not as endings, but as opportunities for growth. You learn to embrace them because you know that every fall carries with it a lesson, a chance to become wiser, stronger, and more prepared for the next challenge. Rising is also a declaration of faith in yourself. It's saying to the world, and more importantly to yourself, that you are capable of more. It's believing that your future is not determined by a single failure, but by the actions you take after it. It's understanding that falling is not a reflection of your worth or your abilities. It's a part of the process, a step along the journey to success. When you rise, you reclaim your power, you take control of your narrative. You decide that you are not the victim of your circumstances, but the author of your story. And that story is not going to end with you on the ground. Think about the people you admire, the ones who have achieved great things in their lives. I guarantee they've all experienced their fair share of falls. The difference is they chose to rise. They chose to keep going when it would have been easier to quit. They understood that every fall was a chance to learn, to grow, and to become better. And because they kept rising, they eventually found success. They reached heights they never could have imagined if they had stayed down. In choosing to rise, you also inspire others. Your story becomes a beacon of hope for those who are struggling, a reminder that it's possible to come back from even the most devastating falls. Your rise shows others that failure is not the end, it's a new beginning, a chance to start over with more wisdom and strength than you had before. So while falling is inevitable, remember that rising is always a choice. It's a choice that's available to you every single time you face a setback, no matter how big or small. And every time you choose to rise, you become a little stronger, a little braver, and a little braver, and a little closer to becoming the person you were meant to be. Imagine a tiny seed buried deep in the dark soil. It's isolated, surrounded by nothing but darkness. From the outside, it looks as though the seed is gone, buried for good, with no sign of life. This image can serve as a powerful metaphor for the moments in life when we feel overwhelmed by challenges, when we find ourselves stuck in situations that seem impossible to escape. It's easy to think of ourselves as being buried by problems, weighed down by failure, and hidden in darkness. But here's the reality: the seed isn't buried, it's planted. And there is a significant difference between being buried and being planted. When you are buried, it implies the end of a journey. It's a place where things are left to rest, forgotten, and without hope of revival. But when you are planted, it marks the beginning of a new process. It's the start of a transformation. In this dark, hidden place, the seed begins its work. It starts small, breaking its outer shell, sending tiny roots downward and a delicate shoot upward. It pushes against the weight of the soil, fighting its way towards the light. This is not an easy process. It requires time, patience, and an incredible amount of effort from something so small and fragile. But the seed is driven by an inner force, a desire to grow, to reach the surface, and to fulfill its potential. This is a powerful lesson for us. When we find ourselves in dark times, feeling lost and overwhelmed by our circumstances, it's easy to feel buried by the weight of our problems. We feel stuck, unable to move forward, and it can seem as though the darkness around us will never end. But what if we shifted our perspective? What if instead of seeing ourselves as buried, we saw ourselves as planted? This simple shift in mindset can change everything. Because when you are planted, the darkness isn't a place of death, it's a place of growth. It's where you gather the strength and resilience needed to break through the surface. The process of growth for the seed mirrors our journey through hardships. The soil is heavy and packed tightly around it. It is a struggle to break through. But it is precisely this resistance that makes the seed stronger. The pressure, the pushing, and the effort required to grow are what prepare the seed for life above the surface. In the same way, the challenges we face in life are not meant to bury us, but to plant us. They are opportunities for us to grow, to develop deeper roots, and to become stronger than we were before. When we are in these dark moments, it is hard to see the purpose. It feels like we are stuck, like nothing is changing or improving. But beneath the surface, there is a lot happening. We are developing skills, learning valuable lessons, and building the strength we will need to rise. Just as the seed must push through the dark, heavy soil to reach the light, we too must push through our struggles to reach our potential. It's in this pushing and this resistance that we find our strength. We learn to persevere, to keep going even when it feels impossible. And when we finally break through, when we rise above the surface, we come out stronger, more resilient, and ready to face the next challenge. The journey of the seed does not end when it breaks through the soil. That is just the beginning. Once it emerges into the light, it must continue to grow, facing new challenges like harsh weather, pests, and competition from other plants. But because of the struggle it faced underground, it has developed a strong root system that anchors it, provides it with nutrients, and allows it to thrive. In our own lives, the struggles we face in the dark moments prepare us for the challenges we will encounter as we rise. They give us the strength and resilience we need to keep growing, to keep reaching for our goals, no matter what obstacles stand in our way. It's important to remember that growth takes time. The seed doesn't transform into a mighty tree overnight. It takes days, months, sometimes even years for it to reach its full potential. And just like the seed, we need time to grow. We need time to heal from our setbacks, to learn from our mistakes, and to gather the strength we need to rise again. Patience is key in this process. We must trust that even when we can't see the progress, even when it feels like nothing is happening, growth is occurring beneath the surface. The darkness is not the end, it is the beginning. So when you find yourself in a difficult situation, feeling overwhelmed by the weight of your problems, remember the seed. You are not buried, you are planted. And just like the seed, you have the power to push through the darkness, to rise towards the light, and to grow into something strong, beautiful, and resilient. Your current challenges are not the end of your story. They are the beginning of your growth, the foundation of your rise. Embrace the darkness, embrace the struggle, and trust that the light is just on the other side. All you need to do is keep pushing, keep growing, and never give up on your journey. Failure is often seen as something negative, something to be avoided at all costs. From a young age, we are taught that failing is bad, that it's a sign of weakness or inadequacy, but in reality, failure is an essential part of success. It is not the opposite of success, but a crucial step on the path towards it. Every great success story you've ever heard is built on a foundation of failures, mistakes, and setbacks. It's in these moments of failure that we learn our most valuable lessons. They are the moments that force us to look at ourselves, to reassess our strategies, and to find new ways forward. Failure in its truest form is not an end, but a beginning. When we experience failure, it can feel devastating. It feels like the ground has been pulled out from under us, like everything we've worked for has crumbled. We start to question ourselves, our abilities, and our worth. It's a painful experience, one that often leaves us feeling vulnerable and exposed. But it is precisely in these moments of vulnerability that we have the opportunity to grow. When we fail, we are forced to confront our weaknesses and our limitations. We have to acknowledge where we went wrong, what we could have done better, and how we can improve. This process of reflection is essential for growth. It pushes us to be better, to strive for more, and to never settle for mediocrity. Failure teaches us humility. It reminds us that no matter how talented or hardworking we are not infallible. We will make mistakes. We will have moments when things don't go as planned. And that's okay. Because it's through these mistakes that we gain wisdom. We learn what doesn't work, which allows us to focus on what does. We start to see failure not as a defeat, but as feedback. It's information, a signal that we need to adjust our approach, try a different strategy, or perhaps take a different path altogether. When we view failure this way, it becomes a powerful tool for learning and improvement. Think about some of the most successful people in history, individuals like Thomas Edison, who failed thousands of times before successfully inventing the light bulb, or Michael Jordan, who famously said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games, 26 times. I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life." And that is why I succeed. These individuals did not shy away from failure. They embraced it. They understood that each failure brought them one step closer to success. They didn't let their mistakes define them. Instead, they used them as stepping stones, as opportunities to learn and grow. Failure also teaches us resilience. When we fail and get back up, we build mental toughness. We learn that we have the strength to overcome obstacles, to face adversity head on, and to keep moving forward even when the odds are against us. This resilience is what separates those who achieve their goals from those who give up at the first sign of trouble. It's easy to keep going when everything is going well. It's much harder to push forward when you're facing setback after setback. But it is in these moments of struggle that we build the grit and determination needed to reach our goals. Failure forces us out of our comfort zones. It pushes us to try new things, to experiment, and to innovate. When we're afraid of failing, we tend to stick to what we know, to play it safe. But playing it safe rarely leads to greatness. It's only when we take risks, when we push the boundaries of what we think is possible, that we achieve extraordinary things. And with risk comes the possibility of failure. But without that risk, we would never discover our true potential. We would never know what we are truly capable of. It's the willingness to fail, to take that leap of faith, even when we don't know what the outcome will be, that leads to breakthroughs and innovation. One of the most powerful aspects of failure is the perspective it gives us. When we fail, we are forced to step back and take a look at the bigger picture. We gain a deeper understanding of our goals, our motivations, and what truly matters to us. We start to see that failure is not a reflection of our worth, but a part of the journey. It's a reminder that we are trying, that we are pushing ourselves to grow and improve. It shows us that we are not content with staying where we are, that we are striving for more. This perspective is what allows us to keep going, to pick ourselves up and try again even after we've fallen. Ultimately, failure is the foundation of success. It's what gives us the experience, the knowledge, and the resilience needed to achieve our goals. It's what shapes us into the people we need to be to handle the success when it comes. Without failure, there would be no growth. Without failure, we would never learn the lessons we need to reach our full potential. So instead of fearing failure, we should embrace it. We should see it as an opportunity, as a stepping stone on the path to success. Because it is in the moments when we fall that we have the chance to rise higher than we ever thought possible. The way we respond to failure often hinges on one crucial factor, our mindset. It's the invisible force that shapes how we interpret our experiences, whether we see them as stepping stones to success or insurmountable obstacles. Our mindset determines whether we look at setbacks as the end of the road or as detours that can lead us to even greater achievements. It's not the fall itself that defines us, but how we react to it, and this reaction is shaped entirely by our perspective. When we talk about the power of mindset, we're referring to the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. A fixed mindset is one that sees abilities, talents, and intelligence as static traits. If you believe that your skills are unchangeable, then failure feels like a direct reflection of your limitations. It's easier to take setbacks personally, to think that falling means you're not good enough or that you're incapable of achieving your goals. In this mindset, failure is a threat because it challenges your self-perception. When you stumble, you may start to doubt your abilities, lose confidence, and shy away from taking future risks. People with a fixed mindset tend to avoid challenges for fear of failing again, choosing instead to stick with what's safe and familiar. They see falling as an indication that they've reached their limit and that there's no point in pushing further. On the other hand, a growth mindset is entirely different. It's rooted in the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort, learning, and perseverance. When you approach life with a growth mindset, failure is not a verdict on your capabilities, but a valuable source of information. It's feedback, a way to learn what doesn't work so that you can figure out what does. Instead of seeing a fall as a final outcome, you see it as part of the process of getting better. People with a growth mindset are willing to take risks, embrace challenges, and view failures as opportunities for growth. They understand that each fall is just one step on the path to mastering a skill or achieving a goal. Our mindset shapes our response to setbacks in profound ways. With a fixed mindset, falling can trigger feelings of shame and inadequacy. It can make you want to hide to avoid trying again for fear of facing the same result. You might start comparing yourself to others, focusing on their successes and using them as evidence of your own shortcomings. This mindset traps you in a cycle of self-doubt, where the fear of failing becomes a barrier that prevents you from reaching your full potential. However, with a growth mindset, falling is not the end, but the beginning. It's a chance to analyze what went wrong, to gain new insights, and to make adjustments that will help you improve in the future. Instead of comparing yourself to others, you focus on your own progress. You understand that everyone's journey is different, and that each fall is an opportunity to learn and grow. Having a positive mindset doesn't mean ignoring the pain of failure or pretending that setbacks don't hurt. It's about acknowledging those feelings but not letting them control your actions. It's about recognizing that growth often comes from discomfort and that the most valuable lessons are learned in the moments when things don't go as planned. It's the inner voice that tells you, this is hard, but it's worth it. It's the belief that even though you've fallen, you have the strength to rise again, and that each time you get back up, you're better prepared for the challenges ahead. One of the key elements of a growth mindset is self-compassion. When you fall, it's easy to be hard on yourself, to replay the mistakes in your head over and over. But self-compassion involves treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a friend who is going through a tough time. It's about acknowledging your effort, recognizing that failure is a natural part of the learning process, and encouraging yourself to try again. This compassionate approach fosters resilience because it allows you to bounce back from setbacks without being weighed down by self-criticism. Instead of being your harshest critic, you become your own biggest supporter, which is crucial when you're trying to rise after a fall. Another powerful aspect of mindset is the belief in the power of effort. In a growth mindset, effort is seen as the path to mastery. It's not just about natural talent or inherent ability, it's about putting in the work, learning from mistakes, and consistently striving to improve. When you believe that effort matters, falling is not a sign of failure but a step towards success. You understand that every setback is an opportunity to refine your skills, to learn something new, and to get closer to your goal. This belief in the value of effort transforms how you see challenges. Instead of avoiding them, you embrace them because you know that each challenge is a chance to grow. Ultimately, your mindset shapes your reality. If you believe that you can learn, grow, and improve, then falling becomes less of a failure and more of a stepping stone on your journey. It's a chance to build resilience, to develop a deeper understanding of yourself, and to prove to yourself that you have what it takes to rise again. It's the voice in your head that says, yes, I fell, but I'm getting back up and I'm coming back stronger. The power of mindset lies in this choice to see every fall not as a defeat, but as an opportunity to rise higher than ever before. When it comes to achieving success, one of the most important but often overlooked factors is consistency. We live in a world that celebrates quick wins and instant results, but the truth is, real, lasting success is built on the small, consistent actions we take every single day. It's not about having one big breakthrough or making a grand gesture once in a while. It's about showing up day after day, putting in the work, and staying committed to your goals, even when the progress seems slow or invisible. This is why consistency is more valuable than intensity. While intensity might give you a burst of short-term energy, consistency is what will carry you through the long, arduous journey towards your goals. Intensity is often driven by motivation, which is fleeting. We all have moments when we feel a surge of inspiration. Maybe it's the start of a new year, the launch of a new project, or the beginning of a new fitness routine. In those moments, we are filled with enthusiasm and energy. We dive in headfirst, setting ambitious targets and pushing ourselves hard. But as the days go by, that initial burst of motivation begins to fade. Life gets busy, challenges arise, and it becomes harder to maintain the same level of intensity. When we rely solely on intensity, we risk burning out quickly. We might make a lot of progress in the beginning, but without a sustainable approach, we struggle to keep up the pace. Consistency, on the other hand, is about commitment and discipline. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it, even when the excitement is worn off, and even when the results aren't immediately visible. It's the small daily actions that add up over time to create significant change. Think of it like planting a tree. You don't see the results right away. At first, it looks like nothing is happening, but beneath the surface, roots are forming, the tree is getting stronger, and with time and consistent care, it begins to grow. This is how progress works in real life. It's slow and often invisible at first, but if you stay consistent, the results will eventually become undeniable. Consistency builds habits, and habits are the foundation of success. When you commit to doing something regularly, it becomes part of your routine, and eventually it becomes second nature. It's no longer a question of whether you will do it, it's simply something you do. This is the power of consistency. It removes the decision-making process and the reliance on fleeting motivation. You don't have to convince yourself to get started every time because it's already a part of your daily routine. This is why consistent effort is so powerful. It creates momentum. With each small action, you build a habit, and with each habit, you build a lifestyle that aligns with your goals. Consistency also helps you build resilience. When you commit to showing up every day, regardless of how you feel or how things are going, you learn to push through discomfort and adversity. You become more resilient because you train yourself to keep going, even when the going gets tough. This resilience is what separates those who achieve their goals from those who give up at the first sign of difficulty. It's not about how hard you can push yourself in one moment. It's about how long you can keep pushing, how many times you can get back up after a fall, and how willing you are to keep moving forward, even when progress seems slow. Consider athletes training for a marathon. They don't just wake up one day and run 26 miles. They train consistently, gradually building up their stamina over time. It's the same with any goal. Whether it's starting a business, learning a new skill, or getting in shape, it's the small, consistent actions that lead to the big wins. It's the daily practice, the incremental progress, and the steady effort that ultimately gets you to the finish line. This is why consistency is more important than a burst of intense effort. It creates a compounding effect. Each day's work builds on the previous day's work, and over time, the results accumulate in ways that a single intense effort never could. Another important aspect of consistency is that it helps you stay focused. When you make a habit of doing something regularly, it keeps your goals front and center in your mind. It becomes a part of your identity in your daily life. This focus is essential because it keeps you aligned with your long-term vision, even when distractions and setbacks arise. It's easy to get sidetracked by shiny new opportunities or to lose sight of your goals when progress is slow, but consistency helps you stay the course. It keeps you grounded in your purpose and ensures that you're always taking steps in the right direction, no matter how small those steps may seem. Consistency is also a measure of your commitment. It's easy to be enthusiastic at the beginning of a new endeavor, but true commitment is shown in your willingness to keep going, even when the excitement fades. It's about showing up on the days when you don't feel like it, when you're tired, and when you're not seeing immediate results. This kind of discipline and dedication is what sets successful people apart. They understand that success is not a one-time event, but a process that requires consistent effort over time. They know that the real progress happens in the daily grind, in the quiet moments when no one is watching, and in the perseverance to keep going even when it's hard. In essence, consistency is the bridge between your goals and your success. It's the steady, persistent effort that transforms dreams into reality. It's not glamorous and it's not always exciting, but it is the most reliable path to achieving anything worthwhile. It's about putting in the work every single day, knowing that each small action, each tiny step forward is bringing you closer to where you want to be. It's this commitment to consistency that ultimately leads to long-lasting, meaningful success. One of the most important aspects of rising after a fall is the willingness to learn from your mistakes. It's easy to view failure as a sign that you're not cut out for something or that you don't have what it takes. But this mindset misses the opportunity for growth. Every failure holds a lesson if you're willing to look for it. Maybe it's a chance to refine your skills, to adjust your strategy, or to better understand your strengths and weaknesses. When you approach failure with a learning mindset, you transform it from a setback into a learning experience. It becomes a chance to gain new insights, to make improvements, and to increase your chances of success the next time around. This process of falling and rising is also about building mental toughness. It's about training your mind to withstand adversity and to push through discomfort. When you fall and get back up, you're sending a powerful message to yourself that you are capable of overcoming difficulties, that you are stronger than your setbacks, and that no obstacle is too great to stop you. This builds confidence, not just in your abilities, but in your resilience. You start to see challenges as opportunities to prove to yourself what you're capable of. Each time you rise after a fall, you become more confident in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. Moreover, falling and rising teaches us the value of patience and persistence. It's natural to want immediate success, to hope that everything will go smoothly from the start. But real progress takes time, and the road to success is rarely a straight line. It's full of ups and downs, twists and turns. It requires patience to keep going when things aren't moving as quickly as you'd like, and persistence to keep pushing forward even when progress feels slow or invisible. The willingness to rise after a fall, to keep going despite the setbacks, is a testament to your commitment and dedication to your goals. Another crucial aspect of rising after a fall is the ability to adapt. The strategies and approaches that worked in the past may not always work in the future. When you encounter a setback, it's a chance to reassess your approach, to be flexible, and to make adjustments. It's about being open to change, willing to try new things, and ready to pivot when necessary. This adaptability is key to long-term success. It allows you to navigate the challenges that come your way, to find new solutions when old ones fail, and to keep moving forward even in the face of uncertainty. Ultimately, the process of falling and rising is what builds character. It's in these moments of struggle, when things aren't going as planned, that we discover who we truly are. It's easy to be confident and optimistic when everything is going well, but it's in the moments of difficulty that we find our true strength. The ability to rise after a fall requires courage, grit, and determination. It's about believing in yourself even when things look bleak, trusting that you have the power to overcome whatever challenges you face, and knowing that each fall is just a temporary setback on the path to success. In the end, success is not about never falling. It's about always getting back up. It's about having the perseverance to keep going, the resilience to bounce back, and the wisdom to learn from every experience. Falling is inevitable, but rising is a choice. It's a choice to keep pushing forward, to keep striving for your goals, and to never give up on your dreams. This cycle of falling and rising is the essence of growth, the process that transforms failures into achievements and setbacks into comebacks. It's what turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers, and it's the journey that makes success truly meaningful. The process of falling and rising is a universal experience. It's a cycle that every person goes through, regardless of their background, ambitions, or current status. But what truly sets apart those who achieve greatness is the ability to transform adversity into an opportunity for growth and transformation. Embracing failure as a stepping stone to success is not an easy feat, especially in a world that often values perfection and immediate results. However, it is precisely this ability to leverage setbacks as learning experiences that propels individuals toward their highest potential. It's not the falls that define us, but our response to them, our ability to rise, dust ourselves off, and move forward with greater wisdom and strength. When we encounter failure, it's natural to feel disappointed, frustrated, or even defeated. We may see it as a reflection of our abilities, questioning our worth and potential. However, viewing failure through this narrow lens can limit our growth. Instead, if we shift our perspective, we can see failure for what it truly is, a powerful teacher. Each fall carries with it invaluable lessons that can reshape our understanding, refine our strategies, and guide us towards a more informed path. Every setback has something to teach us, whether it's about the limitations in our approach, a gap in our knowledge, or an area where we need to develop more resilience. By analyzing these moments, we gain insights that we would have otherwise missed had we succeeded on our first attempt. Transforming failure into growth requires a mindset shift from one of fixed limitation to one of open possibility. This mindset shift is critical because it determines how we interpret our experiences. With a fixed mindset, failure is seen as a reflection of our inherent capabilities. We might think I failed because I'm not good enough or this isn't meant for me. This kind of thinking leads to self-doubt and stagnation, making it difficult to recover from setbacks. However, with a growth mindset, failure is viewed as a part of the learning process. It's a sign that we are pushing our boundaries, trying new things, and stepping out of our comfort zones. It's an acknowledgement that mistakes are not indicators of inadequacy, but are instead essential parts of the journey towards mastery. This perspective empowers us to see each fall as an opportunity to rise higher than before. One of the most powerful ways to turn failure into growth is by embracing the concept of resilience. Resilience is the ability to recover quickly from difficulties, to bounce back stronger after each setback. It's a skill that can be cultivated, and it's built through repeated experiences of overcoming obstacles. Each time we fall and choose to get back up, we are training ourselves to be more resilient. We learn that a single failure does not define us, that it's just a momentary obstacle in a much larger journey. Over time, this repeated process of falling and rising helps us develop an inner strength that becomes a core part of our identity. We start to trust in our ability to handle challenges, knowing that no matter how many times we fall, we have the power to rise again. Failure also pushes us to innovate and think creatively. When our initial plan doesn't work out, we are forced to find alternative solutions. This kind of thinking is often where breakthroughs happen. Innovation rarely comes from doing the same thing repeatedly. It comes from experimenting, taking risks, and trying new approaches. Each failure is an experiment that teaches us something valuable, guiding us closer to what does work. By treating each setback as a learning experience rather than a defeat, we open ourselves up to new ideas and perspectives that we might not have considered otherwise. This willingness to adapt and try different strategies is a hallmark of successful individuals and is often the difference between giving up and finding a way forward. Another key aspect of turning failure into growth is the practice of self-reflection. After experiencing a setback, it's important to take a step back and analyze what happened. What went wrong? What could have been done differently? What can be improved for next time? This process of reflection helps us extract the valuable lessons hidden within our failures. It allows us to gain clarity, understand our mistakes, and make better decisions in the future. Self-reflection also builds self-awareness, helping us identify our strengths and weaknesses. With this knowledge, we can make more informed choices, set realistic goals, and approach future challenges with greater confidence and preparation. A crucial element in this transformation process is maintaining a positive attitude. It's easy to become disheartened after a failure, to dwell on what went wrong, and to let negative thoughts consume us. However, maintaining a positive outlook helps us keep the bigger picture in mind. It reminds us that failure is not the end, but a temporary setback on the road to success. By staying optimistic and focusing on the lessons learned rather than the disappointment, we keep ourselves motivated to keep pushing forward. This positive mindset not only helps us recover more quickly, but also keeps us open to new opportunities and ready to take on new challenges. Finally, the ability to turn failure into growth is deeply rooted in our willingness to take responsibility. When things go wrong, it's natural to want to blame external circumstances or other people. However, true growth comes from looking inward, acknowledging our own role in the failure, and taking responsibility for the outcome. This ownership empowers us to make changes, to adjust our strategies, and to do better next time. It's an empowering realization that while we cannot control every aspect of our circumstances, we do have control over our actions and responses. By taking responsibility, we shift from being passive recipients of failure to active participants in our journey towards success. In essence, falling and rising is a transformative process. It's about learning to embrace failure as an integral part of growth, to see it as a necessary step on the path to success. It's about building resilience, practicing self-reflection, and maintaining a positive attitude. It's about taking responsibility for our actions and using each setback as an opportunity to improve. By viewing failure as a chance to grow rather than a reason to quit, we turn our greatest challenges into our greatest opportunities for transformation and success. In life, the journey from failure to success is never a straight line. It's a winding road filled with falls and rises, setbacks and comebacks. The key to achieving greatness lies not in avoiding failure, but in embracing it as a crucial part of the process. Each fall offers us a chance to learn, grow, and refine our approach. Consistency and resilience are what bridge the gap between where we are and where we want to be. It's about having the courage to get back up after every stumble, the perseverance to keep moving forward despite the odds, and the wisdom to view challenges as opportunities for transformation. Success isn't defined by a single triumphant moment, but by the relentless determination to rise time and time again. So when you fall, and you will remember that it's not the end of your journey, but the beginning of a new chapter. Use the lessons from your failures to propel you higher, stay committed to your goals, and keep rising until you reach your full potential. Your greatest victories are born from your toughest battles, and every time you rise after a fall, you're one step closer to becoming the person you were meant to be. Thank you.